Hello, it's the Coaster Craze. So sorry for the long absence. I was dealing with finals, but now that's done. Summer has started, and I'll be making a lot more videos, starting with my review of one of the best coasters at my home park, Batwing. So let's get right into it with my first category, statistics. So statistically, Batwing is fairly average for all coasters, with a height of a little over 100 feet, a speed of 50 miles per hour, but the length is very solid, especially for a flying coaster, and that's because there are 5 inversions, which is really nice. So this delivers a really nice long ride, even though it's not particularly tall or fast. So I'll be giving the coaster a 3.5 out of 5 for this category. It's not perfect, but it is still pretty great for a flying coaster. Theming and scenery is up next, and for scenery, it's not bad. It's like on like some nice grass in the forest area, so it's not a parking lot coaster. And theming wise, as you can see here, there's a bunch of those cutouts as you walk into this area because it's kind of in a dead end, and you see all these different Batman characters leading up to actually Batman. So that's kind of cool, but that's about it. There's no on-ride theming or station theming, so I'm just giving it a mere 1 out of 5. My next category is restraints and smoothness, and I don't actually love these restraints. I think they're okay, but I prefer the B&M Flying Coaster restraints because of those ankle guards. These, I feel like it's kind of scary. I feel like I could fall out on the ride. I obviously can't, but that's also kind of good for like the thrill of the ride, but overall I still don't love them. And the ride is pretty smooth, but the forces can get to your head a little bit, so overall it's a pretty smooth and pretty good restraint, so I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 for restraints and smoothness. Layout is a huge category, and Batwing has a fairly interesting layout. It's basically the same as the 2 other Vekoma Flying Dutchmans, but basically what it is it goes up the lift hill in the backwards position, which is weird, and then it flips over so you're facing the ground, and then goes into this bank turn, into another turn where it flips over so you're like facing up for this loop, which is insanely intense. A flying coaster loop, there's not many of them, and it's crazy. You go up into another turn where you turn back into the regular position, go through 2 like inline twists, a helix, and then you return to that facing up position. So overall, it feels like it goes by fast, but it's a very intense ride. It's very compact, and I think it's really impressive how many elements are packed into such like a short ride experience. Like, so the layout's pretty solid. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. It can get a little repetitive with some like the turns and just going into like the flat lies a lot. But overall, it has some great elements, especially for a flying coaster. So I'm giving it a solid score. The last category before I reveal the final score is intensity, and I think Batwing really succeeds at it, so I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. No, it doesn't have that extreme heights and speeds and drops as Superman Ride of Steel right next to it, but it does have some very compact, intense elements like this final helix scene right here, or the double inline twist. The loop is probably the most intense point. You got a lot of G's in your head, and overall it's just a very intense experience. I think that's one of its biggest pros, so that's why I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 5. Which brings me to my overall score, and I think this coaster is super fun. It is a very intense ride, as I just said. It has some great elements, just a really solid layout, and I just really do love like how it goes back to back on the elements and stuff, and like there's some really just crazy moments that feel very unique for a coaster, especially like, since I've only ridden this Flying Dutchman. But I have to take off some points because even though it's not very rough, the just how it's like made, it just feels very not re-rideable just in its intensity. So like I only ride this like not too often when I go to Six Flags America. Though every time I do ride, I enjoy it greatly. So for my overall score, I'm giving it a solid 7 out of 10. This is a great flying coaster, one of the best. And though it's not as good as some of the B&M flying coasters, which I prefer, I think it's a really fun ride and a must-do, one of the best rides at Six Flags America. So that wraps up my review. I hope to do more videos as now there's summer. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to Coaster Craze. See you guys later. Bye.